Well, since March 13, when we came back from Jerez test with the Moto E, I am here at the workshop. I'm sleeping here, eat here, and work here all the time. Basically, I work, of course, with my colleagues by electronic meetings, and also with our sponsor as well. I spent a lot of time to let's say to fix a lot of things here in the workshop, to look at a lot of old stuff, and we spend a lot of time to reorganize the workshop, so we didn't get bored. In every team there are different departments, and we, of course, the technical department at the moment just work on looking at the previous data that we collected during the test, the winter test. We keep in touch by electronic meetings. Mostly I speak with our crew chief and our data engineers. The mechanics are not really busy at this moment, of course. A couple of mechanics went on the storage where we keep all the crates. Arrived from Qatar, and they just there to reorganize a few stuff at the Dorna facility in Spain, where the crates at the moment are. On the other end, we do have a couple of departments, which is the commercial department, commercial marketing department, and also the graphic department, which is very active at this moment because, of course, we try to create a lot of content for social media. We are also quite busy to make some book. Because of course every year we do the sponsor book. Of course, at this moment, as we do not race, we do not have new pictures content to make new books. But honestly, this is a little secret. I'm working on our book to celebrate our 25th anniversary, which will be on January 2021. So we are also working with the graphic department on this book, which will celebrate our 25th anniversary. With our rider, I'm keeping in touch, of course, by WhatsApp, by call, and by video call. At this moment, I have one rider in Japan, which is a different jet lag from Europe. And I have another rider, which is Cal, that actually is living in San Diego in California. So it's a completely another jet lag. So let's say that I can basically stay awake 24 hours to communicate with Europe, with Japan, and also with California. But it's fun. It's fun. Yes, we keep in touch most of the time on a weekly basis. It's very difficult to predict when we are going back to racing. It's something which Dorna is working very, very hard together with the local promoters. There are quite strong hopes to go back racing in July, starting mid of July in Jerez de la Frontera, and then Brno, and then Austria, and then Misano, and a couple of other races in Spain, and hopefully maybe some overseas races like Qatar and Malaysia. We never know. I still hope that by the end of this year, the situation of the virus will be much more in control, and hopefully we will be able to race also overseas. The riders at the moment are keeping training. Basically, they just continued what was their winter program training. As you know, Carl, it's very, very passionate about cycling, and Takaki Nakagami, it's working very hard on the gymnasium. Also at home, there are a lot of exercises that both riders do at home. It's not about to get the muscle stronger, because we need more to keep the resistance. Both of our riders are mature. Taka, it's working especially on his shoulder recuperation, and Carl is keeping his right ankle moving a lot. But yes, I think that when we will be back on track, of course, it will need maybe a couple of weeks to get back at the top form, because when you do not race on a MotoGP bike, of course you need a little bit time to get back at that level. But I think with their experience, because they are not a beginner, with their experience, I think that they can be immediately at least fast as the other riders. I remember that in the past there was some pause which was longer than now, because in the past perhaps we finished racing in October and we went back racing in April, so the pause was quite long. But we kept testing during the winter, in November, December, as well in February. This time, let's say that it's more than 2 months that we are far from racing, and of course, if we do not count our Malaysia test and Qatar test, then definitely it's the most longer waiting period, the most longer pause ever. On the other hand, if we consider that we will be in track on February, early February and end of February, it's 2.5 months without racing. We already had in the past, but what probably will be, it's that we will have a longer pause, because most likely we will be back on mid of July, so which will be a quite long pause, and we are all striving to be back on track. There are, I believe, 70% of chances that we will be back on track mid of July. And I think that there are high chances that we will be able to have about between 8 to 10 races, because we do have the possibility to hold more races in the same racetrack. What I mean is, for example, Jerez possibly will hold 2 races in 2 consecutive Sundays. So we will have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a race, and then on the next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the race. So we'll have 2 races, for example, in Jerez, 2 races in Misano, 2 races in Valencia, and these already are 6 races. And then if we count that we can have Brno, we can have Austria, we can have Aragon, probably we can have Barcelona. I think that 8 to 10 races, definitely we can do it. Of course, everything depends also by the development of the pandemic situation, but let's keep positive. in case the race will be cancelled, I think that it will be, of course, not good for all of us. On the other hand, we will try to simply freeze the current contract and postpone the current contract on the following season, because it would be not fair, to consider, to deal again all the sponsorship contracts if we didn't race and we didn't get any money. Of course, the main challenge will be to keep surviving during this year without sponsorship income. This will be only possible if d.o.o will continue to support us by giving some advance on what are their year payments, their year contribution, which will be somehow be settled and balanced on future years' contribution. I think despite we didn't talk yet with d.o.o about this possibility, so means no races this year, I think that d.o.o have already a plan, and yes, it will be very hard for all of us, but we need to keep stronger, we need to keep compact, and we need to think about next year. But again, I am a positive person, and I think and I hope that mid of July we will be back on track racing. The reality is that every team has a different position. Our team is an independent team. As a team, we survive with the sponsorship income and also with the d.o.o contribution, which d.o.o contribution came from the TV rights. Of course, as we do not racing, I believe that d.o.o has difficulties to get paid in full from the televisions, but I don't know, this is not my business anyway. Regarding the sponsorship, yes, we do have sponsors that already paid a couple of installments, because one installment was, for example, at the contract signature, another installment was when the winter test started. So we did have some income, and we did have a lot of expenses, but with the income we had, and hopefully with some support, some contribution advance from d.o.o, we can be able to survive and to pay, let's say, part of the personal salaries, not in full, but we will be enough to guarantee them, to have enough basic income to not look for another job. Honestly, I am very satisfied with how d.o.o handled with this situation. I mean, Carmelo Speleta did an excellent job in contacting us practically every week, personally. Also, he talked with d.o.o shareholder in order to share the problems and try to find a way to help Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP team to survive. d.o.o didn't make any crazy declaration on providing fakes, hopes, and so on. I mean, everything was really, really well done. In my opinion, everything was really well done and really well managed. As well, also Dorna did a lot of work with the local promoter, interacting with local promoter, with the promoter of the races, and trying to persuade them to keep to keep the racing calendar, and eventually to postpone the race, eventually consider the race with a closed door. But this is something incredible what, in my opinion, Dorna have done so far, and I'm sure nobody will be disappointed with Dorna management. The other market, it's a very strange this year, the other market, because teams need to move on. Teams must make important decisions by predictions, not by fact, by real races results. So it's quite difficult to say that. I mean, it's quite difficult to make the correct move for everybody, for everybody, because yes, I imagine myself. For example, we do have Cal and also Taka that both have 1 year contract. Now Honda, because they are Honda contracted riders, Honda need to make a decision on the future of that riders now, without having seen them performing with the new bike. So yes, it's a quite difficult task. At this moment, as far I know, the Ducati is still the lineup to be defined. Ducati in every teams. Definitely Aprilia also, and also on the HRC. So I think also KTM didn't renew yet with Paul Espargaro. So there is some market, something that some rider places that have to be fixed. So it's still active, but I think it will be delayed. So I think June, July will be defined. I mean, in July will be defined, not before. The goal of LCR will be the same. Basically, top 5 with Cal Crutchlow, top 10 with Taka Nakagami. I would say even top 3 with Cal Crutchlow and top 8 with Taka Nakagami. But I want to keep my feet on the ground, as the competitors are very, very strong and very tough. But yes, this is definitely our target. Top 5 and top 10 with the respective rider, Carl and also Taka Nakagami. I think that nobody could expect such a catastrophic situation that could be created by only a virus. I think that the humanity, the governments have took a big lesson on how delicate is our environment, and how much important is to respect our environment. So I'm looking forward that after when this pandemic situation will be solved, I'm looking forward to have a better world in terms of possibly more clean, possibly on the sanitary way more efficient, possibly looking at more deeper the solution with renewable energies, because finally we need to think that we live in this planet and this is the only place where we can live.